at Regency.
Hold it right there, buddy. Hold it right there.
What are you doing here? I thought this thing was assembled.
Oh, no, I gotta go. No. You're not going. No. You don't understand.
Just a quick...
No. We got work to do.
Work later.
No.
Frank, it's assembled.
Work now. It's not either. I got the thing put together, but just talk to me for a minute, all right? Come on. Let's go down the street. Let's go down the street. No. Let's go. Look, sure. All right. I got Bob Strickland on Roberto Duran. I got J.C. Hayward with Juanita Leonard. It's a good one. Right. I've got Bruce Johnson on Little Ray. I've got Sugar Ray Leonard himself in the analysis of the fight. But we got to put things together. We got to start putting this show together from right here in New Orleans.
What do you mean we? Keep us up.
You and me, buddy. Let's start right off the top. How about let's take a look at the two fighters and why they're suddenly back in New Orleans for another fight.
All right, let's do it.
All right.
Anyone who's ever talked about Sugar Ray Leonard's career has used one word to describe him: natural. A gifted boxer, a perfect personality for the media, his very first fight was televised by CBS. It seemed like just months later he was in the ring again in Las Vegas fighting Wilfredo Benitez for the WBC title. His 15th round TKO put him at the top of the welterweight division exactly 999 days after he first turned pro. He brought his title home to Washington and staged his first defense in the Capitol Center. A knockout at 2:27 of the fourth round over England's Dave Boy Green. Yet in the shadows stood the figure of Roberto Duran. He was destroying people, 70 victories. He avenged his only loss with a knockout of Esteban de Jesus. It wasn't long before it became obvious these two must meet in a super fight. June 20th, 1980, the Olympic Stadium in Montreal. Boxing's richest payday, a fight seen by more people than any in history. For the millions who pulled for Sugar Ray, this night was to turn into a nightmare. He had gone into the fight intent on standing up to Roberto Duran to exchange hammer blows and show Duran he was a man. By the third round, everyone in Sugar Ray's corner knew the strategy wouldn't work. Duran swarmed Leonard. He mauled him. Continually, Ray found himself in close, unable to hit Duran, and taking some terrible blows when he tried. For 15 rounds it lasted. Sugar Ray Leonard proved two things that night. He could take a punch, but his strategy was a woeful mistake. For years, professional boxing's unwritten rule said judges didn't take the title away from a champion unless the challenger at least knocked him down. Duran never floored Leonard, but his domination over 15 rounds in Montreal was so complete, they were forced to ignore the tradition and proclaim Duran the new champion. When Ray Leonard left Montreal the next day, he was doubly hurt. He had not only lost the title, he had made a serious error in strategy. When Glenn Brenner talked to him on that plane ride home, he found a 24-year-old fighter completely disillusioned and ready to retire.
How do you feel right now physically?
Very, very sore.
All over?
All over. I got knots all around my head, chest, arms, so places that I never would have dreamt that I would be sore. But I think a fight of that caliber, you have to pretty much take your lumps. Yesterday was a war. And you can't go through too many wars and expect to lead pretty much of a normal life. I mean, I don't know. I promised Juanita, that's it. You know, I felt I gave it all I had. I think I accomplished something in boxing that very, very few men say they've accomplished in a lifetime. And I just feel great.
I mean, you said to Juanita, that's it, that you're going to quit or retire or thinking about it?
Yeah, I'm thinking about it, man. You know, what else do I have to prove? I called my son yesterday, and he was crying. So I said, "Little Ray, you see me lose the fight?" He said, yeah, Daddy, but everyone loses.
The pounding Ray took that night in Montreal may have been, from a physical standpoint, the worst he's ever experienced. But they say, when it comes to pain, the body has a short memory. Less than 2 weeks after the fight, Ray was in his basement, almost on a daily basis, looking at the videotapes, trying to find his mistakes, and working on ways to correct them. Shortly before leaving for New Orleans, Ray and I sat down together for one last look.
I see the fight over and over again, and I see the things that I could have did, but then again, I was pretty confident with my decision to fight Duran the way I did. I think I lost perspective of the fight. I think I let it get away from me because, you know, like here, I'm hurt, you know, and that woke me up, believe it or not. He woke me up. When Duran hit me with that left hook, everyone thought it was the right hand, but it was the left hook that hurt me. And here I'm tying him up, I'm trying to clear my head because...
Are you dizzy now? I mean, are you just about out on your feet?
Well, now I'm backing away, and I'm aware that I'm hurt, and I'm aware that he's going to come
got you again, right?
Yeah, but I blocked his shots. The shots he was starting to throw, he didn't land.
No, yeah.
I tried to psych him out then.
But he did hurt you.
He hurt me bad.
Did you think you were going to last the round?
Oh, yeah. I was determined to last that round because that was his best shot.
That's what I was just going to ask you. That sometimes can be a psychological thing, right? I mean, he hits you as hard as he can, and you're still standing.
Yeah, and I think the reason he hit me that way was because I wasn't really warmed up before the fight, and I fell asleep on him, and the left hook woke me up.
Ray, it wasn't until the 5th round that you say your head really got cleared from those second round punches that you took?
Yeah, well, here in the 5th round, I was myself again.
Felt relaxed in there?
Yeah, I knew that I was in there for a fight, and I was able to land some good blows, but nothing with the impact that I wanted to land with because I think weight was a factor. You know, if you look at the size of my body, I look very small, a little bit too trim for a guy as rough and as strong as Duran. Now, once in a while I work his body, I go under and over, and it slows him down.
Right there? You heard him a little bit there, didn't you?
I heard him here. He probably wouldn't admit it, but...
hey, you really went winging, huh?
And well, that's what I shouldn't have did. I shouldn't have started winging this wide because I started telegraphing my punches. Mm-hmm. But...
boy, this was your first good round of the fight, wasn't it?
I really landed a lot of good body blows. And the shots that I threw would have stopped the average fighter. But I think he was so determined, really, to beat me that he stayed on top of me. He keeps his head low, and he utilizes his head, his shoulders, arm, weight, he does everything. He knows where I'm working his body.
A nice combination there. Do you do a lot of elbows, a lot of shoving and stuff like that?
Well, I have to do, this time, I'm doing the same thing. Whatever he do to me, I do to him.
Yeah.
This might not be the cleanest fight you see this time around.
They say, Ray, the 11th round might have been the best round of boxing in the history of the sport. Would you agree with that? That it was one of the best you've ever heard?
Well, I think it felt like the best round in the history of boxing. We both exchanged some of the most awesome punches that could be thrown in a fight, and we both were determined to try to get each other out of there.
Now, why aren't you trying to get off the ropes here? Why don't you try to get out in the center of the ring?
Because his punches don't hurt me anymore, Glenn. He's throwing punches. He's throwing his best shots now. It don't hurt me, and I still got steam in my punches, so I'm trying to land one good shot. You see, I missed, and that same left hook I missed throughout the fight because I go too high with it, and the way he fights, he stays low. My major problem was when I come off the ropes, now, you'll see me throw a series of punches and wait. Now I'm going to wait. Now he comes back on me, see, and builds, equalizes the points.
Now we're going to 14, and again, what's going through your mind? Do you think you're ahead in the fight, or are you just fighting? You don't know what's going on?
Well, I know for a fact that I said, well, the fight is too close, you know, for comfort.
Yeah.
And I said the last couple of rounds, always, especially with a champion, are deciding factors. I mean, a champion wins the last 2-3 rounds, and with a close fight, it goes to him.
So you thought you were ahead on points at this particular time in the fight, then?
Well, I know for a fact that I'm winning this round here. You know, I know I'm building up enough points to pull out the decision. being in that ring against a guy of Duran's caliber for 15 rounds, well, let's say 14, going to the 15th, I mean, a lot of things go through your mind. Do you want any more? And you plus you're tired, you know, and you say, man, I can't keep this up. But then again, you want it so bad, so just one more round, just 3 more minutes. But that 3 minutes seem like 3 hours. People don't realize it. 3 minutes is a long time. Now, I hear the people saying, go, Ray, go, you know. But I'm tired, and I know he's tired because he's not doing too much, but just basically holding on.
Can you remember what you were thinking if you were thinking?
I'm not thinking about anything but trying to land a big punch to get him out of there.
Trying to knock him out?
Trying to knock him out.
To take all the suspense out of it.
Yeah, I'm just trying to hit him with a shot that was powerful enough to get him away from there.
Coming down the final seconds now.
And see, he didn't want to shake my hand. And he's crazy here.
Yeah. He shoved you there, right?
Yeah.
Did you think, right there, did you think he had won the fight or he'd lost the fight?
I said, well, it's going to be up to the judges. And I thought I had it, but then again, I looked at the jubilation in Duran's corner. And the atmosphere, I could feel in the air that...
something funny going on.
Yeah, something was going on.
Well, we've heard Sugar Ray's analysis on the fight. Where do we go next?
I think we ought to meet some of the people behind the scenes with Ray, his family. Juanita, I know we talked to, and little Ray.
J.C. Hayward has an excellent interview with Juanita Leonard. You know, little Ray was the real problem.
Kid's a tough interview.
Well, first of all, 6-year-old is awful interview.
Yeah.
Second of all, you and I couldn't do that interview because we would intimidate him with our size.
Absolutely.
So I had to find somebody who could talk to little Ray on his level. Guess who I got?
Bruce Johnson.
Right on the level. Eye to eye.
Look him right in the eye. That's what I figured.
Excuse us.
Sugar Ray Leonard, local sports hero turned international celebrity. We're not exactly sure how much money Ray Leonard has made from his boxing bouts and commercial endorsements, but it's safe to say that at age 24, he could retire on his present earnings. We've helped make Ray Leonard rich, while we even pay to see him work out. And we bring our kids to the gym. Boys and girls, it doesn't matter. Adults and children alike are glued to the ring when the champ steps in with that lightning-quick jab, that fancy footwork, that gladiator's body, that... Wait a minute. Who's the kid with the school book? A little fellow who could care less about what's going on in the ring. I bet it's Sugar Ray Leonard Jr., or Little Ray as his friends know him. If Little Ray appears unmoved by all the attention his father is getting, it's probably because he's a permanent fixture at Sugar Ray's camp. And the 6-year-old has his own claim to fame. He's appeared in 2 national commercials.
With a whole new style of living, light and crisp and clean.
That's why now we say the age of 7-Up is here. Because we love that crisp, refreshing taste, so light and crystal clear. Move it up, look it up.
Good, huh?
America, 7-Up.
Wow, we got the jam! Now, that's just my dad.
If Sugar Ray Leonard is just his dad, then Little Ray is just another 6-year-old kid. Or is he? While the rest of the Eyewitness News team was covering the upcoming Leonard-Duran championship bouts, I was given the choice assignment of trying to keep up with Little Ray. I've gotten the runaround before when trying to land a difficult story, but in this case, I was forced to run past patterns before getting an interview.
What do you think you want to be when you grow up?
Football player.
A football player?
Yeah.
You don't like boxing? Why?
Cause
Because what?
it's not fun.
It's not fun.
Cause you gotta go all these rounds.
Too many rounds, huh?
Yep.
If Little Ray appears to be turned off by the upcoming title bout between his father and Roberto Duran, his looks could be deceiving, because beneath this gorgeous face lies a prudent mind, which has this fight and its gladiators already figured out. What do you think of Roberto Duran? What does that mean?
A little bit.
You only think a little bit of him.
Yep.
Is he as mean as people say?
No.
Well, he's not to me. Is he a nice guy?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, he is. He didn't look so nice the last time he was fighting your father.
Mm-hmm. I know, because he wanted to win the fight.
Oh, I see. I see. You predict your father will win this time?
Yep.
How come?
Because
What will he do differently?
He'll knock him out.
Oh, he's going to knock him out.
Yeah.
Reporters don't often quote 6-year-olds, but Little Ray says after the fight with Duran, win, lose, or draw, his father will fight only one more time. A move that will certainly make Juanita Leonard happy, because since turning pro, Sugar Ray has spent little time at home, leaving Juanita to be both mother and father to Little Ray.
Is he a good kid?
He's a very good kid. Very good in school, very good at home, except for when Ray leaves. Like I say, he gives me problems. He thinks he's grown now. He says, oh, you don't tell me what to do, Mommy. You're just my mommy, you know. I don't have to listen to you. But other than that, he's a fairly nice kid. He really is.
Does it bother Ray being away from his son?
Yeah, it does. It really hurt him, you know, when he missed those couple of years not spending with Little Ray. And then he, you know, all of a sudden he has time. And then Little Ray says, no, I don't want to go with you. I want to stay with Mommy, or I want to go to somebody else's house. And it really hurt him that he preferred to either be with me or go to somebody else's house to be with him. And it was just because, you know, he wasn't used to being around Ray a lot.
Is Ray now overcompensating, so to speak, giving him too many material things? Is he spoiling the guy?
No, Ray doesn't spoil me either, because like when they did the last commercial for 7-Up, he didn't want to do it. He says, I'd rather stay home. See, because Ray and I were in Mexico, and Ray had to meet us in New York. And he says, I don't want to do it. So Ray says, okay, we'll compromise with you. If you do the commercial and do a good job, then I'll buy you a 3-wheel train cycle. And he said, okay. And he really did a great job, and Ray bought him the terrain cycle. But if he had said, no, I'm not going to do it, Ray would have never bought him a terrain cycle. So we don't really spoil him a whole lot as far as, you know, giving him material things. I think I kind of over-love him a little, you know, but other than that, we don't spoil him too much.
Little Ray says all he wants is to be an ordinary little boy. But I suppose that's next to impossible when your daddy is Sugar Ray Leonard.
Yeah, you realize it's going to be very difficult not to spoil a kid as nice as Little Ray Leonard.
You'd almost have to work at trying not to spoil him.
I think the big story, the best story of the three, is Juanita herself.
Interesting woman. It's tough being married to a national or international celebrity. I mean, our wives know that.
Not exactly.
What I'm saying is, you know, she has to stay behind the scenes, and a lot of women would resent that. And I think Juanita handles it very well.
Again, a story that you or I couldn't do, because Juanita wouldn't really open up to us. So who was the natural to do it? Who else? J.C. Hayward.
Anybody'd open up to her.
Yeah.
Meeting Juanita Leonard is like meeting an old friend. Even I have to admit there is quite a difference between our ages. But while sipping coffee and glancing through her wedding book, we laughed and talked together like teenage girlfriends. It was almost 10 years ago that shy, innocent, and quiet Juanita Wilkinson met Ray Leonard. Little did she know that by dating the most popular boy in Parkdale High School would turn into a fairy tale romance. One not without complications, but certainly one that only happened in dreams.
Everybody's trying to get the most popular boy on the street, and he was the most popular boy on the street. And I figure if I get the most popular, you know, whether I love him or not, you know, I'm it, you know. But then I fell in love.
You did?
Yeah,
You
after I
weren't
met
planning
him.
on that.
No. And after I met him, he's such a sweet, sweet, innocent little boy.
Really?
Yes.
Has Ray changed at all?
Changed in certain ways because of his image, and he has to portray a certain image to the public. But as far as home and deep down, no, he hasn't changed. He's still a little stubborn boy I met 10 years ago.
Who's the boss in the family?
When it comes to housework, I'm the boss. I tell him what to do.
Does he do housework?
Yes, he washes the dishes. He washes clothes for me.
He does. He washes dishes and... How do you get him to do that?
Just ask him.
What kind of...
Real sweet.
Oh.
Hey, would you wash the dishes for me, please? He'll say, they'll wait about 5 minutes. He's, okay, I'll wash them.
What are your personal goals?
My first goal is I'd like to work with mentally retarded kids. I love them. I know a couple of kids that are mentally retarded. We were in Oklahoma a couple of months ago, and we met this little girl that had cerebral palsy. And she was just the sweetest little girl, I tell you. And I fell in love with, she fell in love with Ray, and I fell in love with her. So,
do you find everybody falls in love with Ray?
Yeah, nobody falls in love with me, but that's okay because I love him just the same. I still love him just the same, but she was just the sweetest, and I'd like to work with either handicapped or mentally retarded kids. I think they're just the sweetest. People look at them and yeah.
But they're giving and they're loving.
They are just the most sweetest, loving people that you ever want to meet. They really are.
They are.
So gentle, you know.
What are your feelings when Ray is in the ring?
I don't know, just the thought of, you know, him up there and a freak accident could happen. Just like this year, it's been so many boxers killed in the ring alone just this year. And the night that he fought Duran, it was one guy that stayed in a coma almost a month and then he died. And the guy was in perfect health, you know, in great shape. It was just something, a freak accident that happened, and that mostly, more than anything else, runs through my mind because the public sees him in the way, he's this image and we love him and stuff like that. And, you know, if something happens, if he gets up there and he gets a bad blow and he goes into a coma and never comes out, then the public says, oh, he was a great man. You know, it's a loss to them, but it's more of a loss to me because who do I have? If something happens to him, who do I have? I look at it that way and it scares me. It scares me, yes. Every time he walks out the door and gets on an airplane, it scares me to death.
Does it?
Yeah. Like if he gets up at 4 o'clock in the morning and have to leave to catch a plane, I'll get up and I'll get my Bible and I'll read and pray for him because it scares me. Nobody ever sees Ray when after he comes out of that ring and he goes home with the swollen face like this and the big ears and the cuts and the bumps and the bruises where he can't even turn over in the bed. Nobody ever sees that but me. And people say, I think he ought to go up there and get it again. He's a great boxer. He ought to do this and do that. Nobody sees that but me. And I think if more the public realize that it's hard on me as hard as it is on him to get up there. And when you go through 15 rounds of nothing but constantly punching, your whole body is taking a beating. And it takes you a week or so to recover. And it's horrible.
How do you feel about this upcoming fight?
I hate it, to be honest with you. I hate that the fight even came through. Because I've been asking him like for the last 2-3 years to quit. And he says, send me, I can't do it. He told me at the last fight, he said, so that's it, I'm not going to fight anymore. And we went on a nice vacation to Hawaii, had a real nice time. And about the 3rd day we were down there, we were walking down the street, Waikiki, and everybody kept saying, Ray, you're champ, you're champ, you're champ, go get him again. And so he turns and looks at me, he says, Juanita, I got to tell you something. I says, what is it? He says, you're going to kill me. I did, but I just have to tell you. He says, I got to fight again. No, don't tell me that. You ruined my whole vacation, but I understand. I understand. I just told him, I says, well, that's the way you feel. I'm behind you all the way. But you know how I feel about it, so we know how each other feel. He shocked me. He says, I got to fight again. I just got to. Well, there we go. No more dreams for me. Just bust my whole bubble. You know. But it's something that he loves. It's something that he wants to do, and I can't take that away from him. You know, you can tell your husband, I don't like you working on that type of job because the people, they're on you all the time. But I mean, if it's something that he loves to do, if he loves to work, then he's going to want to stay there. So I can't take that away from him. I have to let him pursue whatever he's after. Whatever goal he wants to accomplish. I don't know what that may be, but he's already proved it to me that he's a great man as well as a great fighter. But I guess he wants to prove to the whole world. He wants everybody not to have a doubt in their mind about him, so he's going to try to do it.
Leonard, what do you want to do next?
It's up to you, pal, whatever you think.
Let's think about it. Let's think about it over coffee and French donuts. I know a place right over here.
How about scotch and French donuts?
How about coffee and French donuts? Coffee. I don't know if you realize it or not, but this is a big moment in your trip to New Orleans. You're sitting here at the Café du Monde at Jackson Square drinking coffee. The Mississippi River is only about a half a block away.
You always take me to the best places, Frank.
Look, before we go any farther in this special, we absolutely have to do something on Roberto Duran. I mean, after all, he's the champion.
That's right. The problem with Duran a lot of times is that he's inaccessible to the news media, particularly when he's in New Orleans, because the people that surround him, and he's surrounded by more bodyguards than the president, view the media, I think, as a distraction, and they don't want any distractions this close to fight time.
I got a surprise for you. 2 weeks ago, I took a crew to Miami, and we got Roberto Duran before he came to New Orleans, number one. And I'm not worried about the language barrier either, because I took Bob Strickland, who not only speaks fluent Spanish, but just happens to be Panamanian.
That's why you are where you are today, bud. You're on top of it.
Miami, 6 a.m. Most people here are still asleep as Roberto Duran begins the long day's training routine with an hour of road work. That's the first thing you learn about Duran. He's dead serious about his rematch with Sugar Ray Leonard. You also learned quickly that Roberto Duran is a man of character who's kept hold of his roots. Duran grew up in a poor neighborhood in Panama City, and it's in a poor neighborhood of Miami that he's trained for the Leonard fight, forsaking the more luxurious gyms in town to work out in a shabby one owned by a fellow Latin American. You learn something else about the quality of the man in the way he interacts with his Latino fans. They speak the same language and share some of the same frustrations of being foreigners in America. But they also share much of his pride and reputation of being the best fighter in the ring, pound for pound. Then you learn that Duran is a man whose soft-spoken nature conceals much of his intelligence and his determination to be the best at what he does. And the best right now means to destroy Sugar Ray Leonard in the ring. You get that idea when Duran says his speed bag needs to be bigger, to be more like Leonard's head. In contrast with the fast-rising, media-hyped career of Sugar Ray Leonard, success has not come easy for Roberto Duran. He literally had to fight his way out of that grinding poverty in Panama City, sometimes venting his anger by beating up American soldiers who prowled his neighborhood in search of prostitutes. Then, for 15 years, he had to fight a long string of tough opponents, becoming the lightweight champion along the way before getting a shot at Sugar Ray Leonard and the welterweight crown. Even then, he had to endure the humiliation of a $1.5 million purse, while Leonard, the younger, less experienced fighter, took home $10 million. That, we learned, is a major reason why Duran hates Leonard.
He gets a lot of undeserved publicity. And the truth is, I don't get it, but I have earned it. To me, they should pay to see me and not him. And for that reason, they have to pay me what they should. Many people say I make money fighting him. But people don't understand that Leonard won't make money unless he fights me, so we're both important. So who are they kidding?
Manos de Piedra, they call him, hands of stone. Roberto Duran earned that accolade by winning 71 of his 72 professional fights, 55 of them by knockouts. Sugar Ray Leonard learned a staggering lesson about those hands of stone in their first fight, but apparently there's more to come, because as fearsome as Duran was in that bout, he was not in peak form.
Well, the first time certain things happened I shouldn't have. Besides, I was sick and there were too many problems. And they tried to call off the fight, saying I had troubles and that I was sick. And that was pure lying to avoid his fighting me and change things. But thank God everything worked out all right.
How do you feel fighting Sugar Ray Leonard this time?
I feel much better, much stronger, much faster. Much more breath than the last time.
Hay más confianza.
Yes, I'm more confident.
Will we see a different fight this time?
Well, I believe so. During the first fight, he did too much holding. I couldn't do what I wanted. He says he will do more fighting this time. He'll throw more hooks, fight more. We'll see if that's true.
What do you think of Leonard's fighting abilities? Is he a good boxer?
Yes, he's good and sharp, but I'm better. So I won't let him outfight me in the ring.
Is it true that you develop a genuine hatred for the people you fight?
Well, I'm not fighting with friends. When in the ring, you give it all. The ring signifies one's death. If you're careless, the wrong punch, and you can be killed. So when I get into the ring, I go with hatred. So I don't have to have compassion for any opponent.
Do you hate Leonard?
Especially for him, yes. Why? Because I don't like people like him, clowns like him. Because in truth, the only fight he really fought was with Benitez. Who else has he fought? He hasn't fought strong people. And I always fight strong people. I have proved myself. And I have been champ for 8 years at 135 pounds without losing.
You're saying you're surprised that Leonard got as far as he did? You don't respect his ability.
Yes, because he hasn't earned it. He hasn't earned it.
Okay.
Now, if I were an American, I would be much more famous than he. But I'm not. I'm Latino, and that's why things are this way. No, in part, it hasn't bothered me. No, on the contrary, it's helped me. He had to fight me.
What you're saying, then, is that it's made you a better fighter?
Yes, that's correct. It gives me hate and makes me prepare better.
You still hate him?
I do. I just don't like him.
Well, after your first fight, you said Leonard was your friend. That's changed again?
I said it just as a gesture, because every time he saw me, he threw me kisses, and that irritated me. Because only a woman can do that to me, not him. There is a double meaning there.
Did you see a lack of respect?
Yes, at least with that gesture. He thinks he's Tarzan's mother, and he runs around with 20 or 30 bodyguards. What for? Are the bodyguards going to get into the ring and fight with him? I walk alone. I fear no one. I walk the streets alone, and I don't have 20 or 30 bodyguards to look out for me. Having 7 or 8 at the weigh-in, why? They're not going to fight.
Do you see that as a distraction?
I see that as a form of fear. Sure, he needs people around him to assure him. Assurance. That's a plan.
This program will be seen in Leonard's hometown area. I understand you have a message for Sugar Ray.
Yes. This time I'm going to knock him out for being loudmouth.
¿En qué round?
I don't say what round, because I'm not a charlatan like he is. But this time he will hit the ground. And I pray every night that he won't get sick to make excuses not to fight me. No excuses.
Well, it seems to me you're trying to make this a vengeance fight.
I told you, I don't like him.
I knock him out, you, Leonard. Remember, you don't like it, Leonard. Too much this. ¿Cómo se dice payaso en inglés?
It's a clown.
She's clown.
Big clown.
Big clown.
And the last thing Duran said to me was, I hate him.
Tengo odio.
You know, people can sometimes have a bias against somebody because he doesn't speak their language. I think this is true. The guy doesn't speak English, so you figure that he's ignorant. Not true with Roberto Duran. It would be a mistake to believe that. He's intelligent, he's glib, he's quick. He's going to give Sugar Ray a heck of a fight. We're almost done with this special, Glenn. Got one more thing that I want you to do, and it's important. Come on, let's go talk about it.
It's one thing I want you to do while we're on the way. Pick up this check.
Most fighters the stature of a Sugar Ray Leonard usually have an entourage the size of Congress. However, there are just 3 men in Ray's corner: Jenks Morton, Mike Traynor, and Angelo Dundee. It's not your typical boxing triumvirate. Jenks Morton has known Ray longer and is closer to Ray than anyone outside his immediate family. He's Ray's trainer, his manager, and best friend. And when you think of a boxing trainer, the first image that usually comes to mind is the character Burgess Meredith played in Rocky I and II. Morton is anything but. He himself runs a very successful insurance business. Ray's business affairs are handled solely by Mike Traynor, a Silver Spring attorney who, prior to getting involved with Ray, had and still does have a successful criminal law practice. Then there's Angelo Dundee, who's been in the corner of some of the greatest fighters of all time. Most notably, of course, Muhammad Ali. Dundee, who has been in boxing over 40 years, scouts opponents and helps map pre-fight strategy with Jenks and Ray. He's also one of the best cut men in the business. But if you're going to tell the true story of Sugar Ray Leonard's career, it all must start with Jenks Morton.
They brought some gloves in, some old gloves, and got started that way.
Was Ray better than everybody else right at the very beginning, or was it something he just showed a proclivity for?
No, not from the beginning, because he come in real wild, you know.
Street fighter.
Like a street fighter, exactly. But you could see the potential was there, because he had all the heart in the world to be determination to be a fighter.
Right after the Olympics, when they got back, Jenks called me and said that Ray wanted to go to college, and he was getting some commercial requests of a local nature, nothing real big. And he thought he needed somebody to sort through them and try to look out for him. And I said I'd be happy to do it. And then he brought Ray in, and we talked about it. And I said I'd be happy to look out for him.
What happened after that? I mean, why didn't he wind up going to college?
I had mentioned to him one time that clearly boxing was, at that point in time in his life, what he did best. And it could be very valuable. And if he went to college now, that he could always go to college later, that if he went to college now, that there probably wasn't anything he could major in that would generate the kind of money to him right away. And that I was concerned that if he was away from boxing for a significant period of time, it might be very difficult for him to get back into it, and that he should think about it. And during this period of time, we were getting some crazy proposals from people. There were some brothers out in Chicago, somebody, who wanted him to fight Duran out there for several $100,000.
Right after the Olympics?
Yeah, right after the Olympics. He had been contacted by Don King, who'd made him a ridiculous proposal to turn professional. And then he had had some contact with the people at the Capitol Center.
I literally heard from a little guy by the name of Mike Trainer.
Yeah.
Called me up. He says, would I be interested in handling Sugar Ray Leonard? I said I would. I called him back, you know, afterward, and then we made a date to have a meeting, and we had a round-table discussion, but the table was square, but we all sat down, and we had a confab, and we've been doing it ever since.
So, I mean, you didn't have any problem with, you think the kid had the potential to be a champion?
I never,
or what?
Well, no, I saw him in the Olympics, and I seen what he did. See, people missed it, but me being a fight manager sees it. He lit up the screen. In other words, we had Davis, we had, they were bragging on Davis, there were the Spinks brothers and the other kid, Randolph. Yeah. But what I saw was Sugar Ray Leonard was the guy. Yeah. He was the guy that lit up the screen to me.
I sensed that he would, if he did turn professional, that he was not the kind of individual who would be happy being, quote, the property of somebody, having someone own him. So I had suggested to him one day that why don't you think about going in business for yourself just like anybody else would, like I did and everyone else. And if you have to borrow some money to get started, fine, but then when you pay the money back, you're on your own. You own yourself. And the way we went about it was probably better that I had not had any experience in boxing, because I came into it with the theory that it must operate like any other business. And you look at it and you analyze it, and if it makes sense, you go ahead and do it. So my theory was, is you get an opponent to get in the ring with Ray, you go to an arena, you have to have an arena, you make your deal with the arena. If you want it on television, you call up the television network and say, are you interested in this fight? And you sell it to them, and that way you cut out all the middlemen, and in the end, the fighters benefit from it.
What kind of person is Ray Leonard?
He's one of the most truthful people that you would ever meet, and I think a lot of people try to take advantage of him because they took his kindness for weakness. And I think they see his strength now. He's a man now. He's not the little boy that people thought he was.
What about Ray's financial future? Is he set for the rest of his life?
Yes, he's been very cautious, very prudent, very conservative with his investments. I think what's important is that Ray's aware of his future as much as I am, and really spends very little money when you think of how much he's made. I think his major expenditures are for his family, for his mother and his father, which may sound corny, but it's true. And as far as Ray's concerned, we've put a great deal of money away, which is earning interest now. when he doesn't need it. And I believe that it's safe to say that he's taken care of the rest of his life, and he's provided for his family for the rest of his life.
In a business like boxing, which at best can be described as seedy, it's both refreshing and encouraging to see a gifted fighter like Sugar Ray Leonard surrounded by men who genuinely care about his personal, professional, and financial well-being. Sugar Ray Leonard fought his way to the top. People like Jenks Morton, Mike Trader, and Angelo Dundee are making sure he stays there, no matter what happens Tuesday night.
You know, when people think of boxing, particularly a fight like this, I think they basically, all they see is the glitter and the gold. I mean, the money that's generated by a fight like this. But what they don't take into consideration sometimes is that any time you step into a ring, you can get killed. One punch is all it takes.